Hello students, welcome to the lecture on event organization and follow-up, and after this lecture we will be able to learn the following objectives. Organize an event, explain event safety risk assessment. Let's start with the concept of event organization and follow-up. Organizers of public events need to be aware that a great deal of planning and organization is required to run an event successfully, safely, and in compliance with a wide range of legislation. They must remember that at all times they are responsible for all aspects of the event. Responsibility can include seeking advice from a relevant authority or agency, risk assessment, and the identification of those measures which will maintain the duty of care for both organizers and attendees. For some events, substantial resources may be necessary to fulfill traffic regulations, fire safety, medical cover, and the maintenance of public orders. It will be necessary to have the following information about proposed event: the date, time and location, the type of event, the name of the organizer, the number of people expected. Give as much advance warning of the event as possible. For a small event, less than 50 people attending, there should be at least 28 days notice before the event. For all other events, at least 2 to 6 months notice would be helpful. We have compiled some general information to give organizers an idea of the issues they must take into account when planning a major event. Specialist advice is always available from the council and the relevant emergency services. Remember, the organizer of the event is responsible for safety at public events. We strongly recommend that take out adequate insurance to cover the event and planning. Let us now discuss how to organize an event. Events that are run to raise money need to be very carefully planned. For every successfully run event, there is one that has lost money. Be clear on the purpose of the event. Is it to raise as much money as we can? To raise the public profile of the organization? To attract supporters for the organization? A thank you for existing supporters and volunteers? Whatever the purpose, the event must give enjoyment in return for money. In some countries, 10% of the population attends events run by not-for-profit organizations each year. Some attend simply because of the event, while others consider it a way of supporting organization. The organization provides the purpose for the event. It attracts the involvement of those who believe in the aims of the organization. The reputation of the organization can greatly affect participation of the performers. The support which VIPs and celebrities give to the organization can help to generate publicity for the event and can also attract sponsors. Let's now talk about the advantages and disadvantages of fundraising events. Advantages. The event can be selected and developed to maximize organizations' resources and objectives. Large and small financial needs and short and long-term funding can be secured through the successful implementation of an appropriate event. The event can be local and community-based, national, or even international. An event presents great opportunities for publicizing the organization and cause. An event provides a focus and opportunity to involve supporters. People enjoy attending events and through them can attract new supporters. Events provide opportunities to widen network and seek sponsorship. Disadvantages. Events require good leadership and organizational skills. There are many things that can go wrong, often beyond control. Some events are plagued by Murphy's Law. What can go wrong will go wrong. As well as making money, we can actually lose money in running an unsuccessful event. There is the potential for bad and damaging publicity if something seriously goes wrong. When organizing an event, there are options to consider. One can organize own event, establish a committee to organize the event for the organization, buy places in third-party events, take part in a regular or existing event, be the chosen organization for a major event. Questions to consider before planning an event. What are the objectives, both primary and secondary, of the event? What is the benefit to the organization? Are there achievable budgets and results? Does the concept have the support of board or head office? Do we need to test by running a pilot event? What is the division of roles and responsibilities? How can the event be monitored? How will the evaluation be carried out? Ideas for fundraising events. A few suggestions or ideas for community fundraising events are outlined below. These ideas do not apply to all situations. They are more suited to urban settings than rural settings. Exhibitions and demonstration events. Painting exhibition where local artists exhibit their work. Cost of entry goes to organization, as does a negotiated percentage of any sales made by the artists. Fashion show where a local shop or fashion company provide a show of their goods. The income from the sale of tickets and a percentage of sales goes to organization. Cookery demonstration by a well-known chef or a chef from a prestigious local hotel or restaurant. The income comes from entry tickets and a raffle. Food tasting event. Invite a local delicatessen to display and run a tasting session so participants can taste new foods. An organization makes some money. Hair and beauty hints and tips evening. A local hairdresser and beautician hold an evening of advice and demonstrations about makeup and hairstyles to suit different age groups. Cost of entry and a percentage of products sold go to organization. Cake decoration session. Invite a local bakery or an individual who is known for cake decoration to give a demonstration of creative cake decoration. Hold a raffle as well as entry tickets to boost income. Flower arranging demonstration class. Ask an expert flower arranger or invite a local florist to run a flower arranging class. Entry tickets and percentage of products sold will give an income. Have one flower arrangement as a raffle prize to increase the income. Musical and dance events. Organize the event and charge for entry. Try and find a free venue to make even more money. A picnic and music in the grounds of a mansion. A themed music night, example, classical, from a specific decade, folk, etc. Have drinks and snacks on sale to boost ticket sale income. Traditional dance and food evening, concert by a local choir. Dancing display. Approach a local dance school and it will ensure an audience of parents and relatives. Sales. Collect and sell unwanted donated items to the highest bidder. Hold a car boot sale. This can be done by individual volunteers donating the income or as a larger event by renting out space to stall holders. A book sale day. Ask for donations of good quality books and then sell them. Any unsold books can be sold onto a second-hand bookshop, so maximizing income. Product sale. Approach volunteers or beneficiaries and request donations of their produce, which organization can then sell at the most suitable venue. For example, food producers at the local market, handicrafts at a trade fair, or from a stall at a shopping center. Competition. Fundraising events. A quiz night. Invite teams of 4 to 6 people to enter and compete against each other in a hall, pub, or hotel. Income comes from entry fees and a raffle. Raft race. Teams are invited to build their own raft and race other teams on a river. For more fun, have a theme for the race such as pirates, mermaids, etc. Income is derived from entry fees and the sale of food and drinks. Organize a local talent show of song, dance and acting and/or poetry readings. This can be for different age groups and categories. Have an entry fee and sell food and drink to supplement income. Prizes should be donated by local businesses. Chess, Mahjong, dominoes, whist, bridge games night. Teams are invited to participate in the fun evening, run as a knockout competition with an eventual winning team. Football or cricket team knockout competition. Extra income can come from the sale of food and drinks as well as novelty items. When planning to run an event, be innovative. Have a brainstorming session to collect a wide range of ideas. Be aware of the competition and research ideas and market. Evaluate competition. What other organizations have run similar events? Did they work? Have they now become old-fashioned? Is there still financial gain in running that particular event? Try and keep ideas simple and define target group age, gender, geography, wealth, social trends, aspirations, and general interests. Whatever the event, there are 4 principal elements: our organization, publicity, performers, sponsors. These 4 elements are interdependent. If change one, it affects all the others. Each of these elements has something to give and something to gain. If they can get all 4 working in harmony, then it will have a successful event. Publicity. The media are in the business of covering news and reporting on local and current events. They may have an interest in covering event. The amount of press, TV and radio exposure received will depend on how genuinely newsworthy the event is and how creative are we in generating media interest. If it cannot secure sufficient free media coverage, then we will have to pay for publicity, usually in the form of press and poster advertising. To ensure an audience or participants, it may have to invest in at least some paid advertising. Clearly, the performers and sponsors will have their own reasons to wish to see good media exposure before, during, and after the event. Performers. The performers are those people upon whose skills and appeal the event is centered, the band that is booked for the rock concert, the auctioneer and auction house undertaking the sale, the teams who will play in the charity sports event, etc. They have much to gain by participating in event. It may be a professional fee, media coverage, goodwill, enjoyment and team building opportunities. Sponsors. Corporate sponsors may be willing to support event, especially if they believe that they can get good publicity, generate goodwill, associate with worthy cause, access VIPs and royalty, and be seen to back a winning event. Sponsors can be asked to underwrite part or all of the costs of running the event. The nature of the event will also have an effect on the decision of the sponsor. When planning an event, you must think of the people, audience, participants, entertainment, product type of event, price, tickets, entry, sponsor, place where, period, date. 12 steps of event organizing are: type of event. Decide what the event is going to be, having done research into competitors and what will make the organization money. Decide who will organize the event and be responsible for its successful outcome. Venue. Decide on the best venue. How much will it cost, or will it be free? The location is vital. Is it easy to reach? Does it have sufficient car parking? Is it easy to access by public transport? Does it have toilets? Is the venue prestigious and attractive to celebrities? Example, the president's official residence. If it is an open-air event, is the surface suitable? Will there be a need for marshals? What are the safety issues to consider? Day, date, time. Picking the date and time of an event can make or break it. When will most people be able to attend? Are weekends best, or is morning, afternoon, evening the most suitable? What other events are scheduled around the date that you are thinking about? Is there a weather factor to take into account? An outdoor event could be ruined by rain. Pick season carefully. Permission and assistance. Does anyone need permission to use the venue from the owner, landowner, local authority, or governing body? Example, football association or local sports club? Does anyone need permission from the police or their assistants with street parades? Budgets. Budgets should cover everything, all income and expenditure. Income includes entry fees, donations, company sponsorship, participant sponsorship, sales of t-shirts, food, drinks, program sales, adverts, raffle, lottery. Expenditure includes venue hire, posters, entry forms, printing, prizes and trophies, cost of t-shirts, incentives for fundraising, advertising, staff costs, helpers costs, travel, food, hire of facilities, example toilet tents, public liability insurance, design and printing. Careful thought needs to go into the design and production of materials for the event. Is there a special logo or design that will be on all the materials? Materials likely to be used are posters, entry forms, sponsor forms, program think about the numbers required, certificates for participants. Posters should be simple. What, where, when, how to get more information. Entry forms must have name, address, age and sex if appropriate. Put names of sponsors on appropriate materials. Publicity. Without good publicity, an event will fail. Use all available means of publicizing the event. Newspapers, radio, television, posters in shops, clubs, companies, etc. People at other events, supporters of that organization, schools, colleges, universities, hospitals, health centers. Prizes, awards, incentives. What prizes will be needed? How many categories and how many prizes will be needed? Incentives are for encouraging fundraising. For example, it get a free t-shirt if that raise INR 2,500, a free sweatshirt if they raise INR 5,000, and a free pair of sports shoes if raise INR 10,000. The top fundraiser should get a special award. Example, a weekend break for two. Get prizes and incentives sponsored by local companies. Put the companies' names on publicity materials. Helpers. Draw up a plan of the event. List all the jobs that need to be done and who will do them. Recruit helpers for the event by approaching youth groups, schools, universities, supporters, friends and family, parents or families of participants, local sports clubs. Administration. Administration falls into three categories: before the event, on the day, and after the event. Before the event, be clear and list who is responsible for distributing materials, allocate someone to collect entry forms, bank any money, send out information to participants. On the day, decide who will register participants, write out certificates, sign sponsor forms. After the event, work out results, send out letters of thanks, bank money, analyze the budget. Monitoring and evaluation needs to be carried out throughout the whole process. Planning and on the day. Before the event, make a list of all the jobs that have to be done and who are to do them and by what day, time. For the day itself, a really detailed list is required and everyone must be briefed so they know exactly what their duties are. After the event, most important, send out letters of thanks to all involved. Work out the results. Send results and details to local paper and sponsor. Bank the money. Look at the evaluation and learn from this event. Now moving on to the next topic, we will study about the event safety risk assessment. The success of event is measured in many ways and safety is one of them. As part of any good planning process, hazards should be identified and risks assessed and controlled to minimize the potential for injury or harm. Events vary in size, nature and type, but all events require assessment, control and monitoring of risks. Whilst most of us understand this, we can find it difficult to apply to a working event document such as risk registers or risk control plans. Remember to start with something simple and build on it. It will become an invaluable tool that can be used to assess event safety from the planning phase right through to the overall evaluation of the event. The risk assessment process outlining each step. Hazard identification. Hazard identification is the process of recognizing hazards associated with an event. It is helpful to identify risks by considering the people involved and their roles to ensure their safety at all times. Hazard groupings that can assist in the identification process include human type and size of crowd expected, level of crowd participation, technological, mechanical, utilities such as gas and electricity, natural, the physical location and site area conditions, environmental, weather, Environment Protection Authority controlled ground impact, etc. Risk assessment. Risk assessment is the process of estimating the potential effects or harm of a hazard to determine its risk rating. By determining the level of risk, event organizers can prioritize risks to ensure systematic elimination or minimization. In order to determine a risk rating, consider the consequence, what will happen, the extent of harm, and the likelihood, chances, or possibility of it occurring. A risk assessment matrix modeled from examples given. Risk management is provided. When conducting a risk assessment, include the people who are actually involved in undertaking the task. Experience is as important as a fresh perspective when undertaking risk assessment. Risk control. In order to control the risk, we need to work out the best method of handling the risk. Look at the following methods, which are referred to as the hierarchy of controls, to see if it can eliminate or reduce the risk. Elimination. By removing the hazard entirely through new design or implementing a new process. Substitution. By replacing hazardous materials or methods with less hazardous alternatives. Often people pick the easier option by going straight to administrative controls or PPE, but there are often more effective ways to control the hazard. In many cases, consultation and discussion with the people involved reveals new ideas or better ways of handling hazards and reducing the risks of injury. Focus on what is both realistic and practical so that risks are minimized to an acceptable level. It is vital to ensure that risk assessment covers the entire event, from setup, bump in, to dismantling, bump out, not just during the event itself. Most importantly, consult with those involved. Now, in the end, let us summarize what we have learnt in this lecture. The organization provides the purpose for the event. It attracts the involvement of those who believe in the aims of the organization. The amount of press, TV, and radio exposure received will depend on how genuinely newsworthy the event is and how creative are in generating media interest. Risk assessment is the process of estimating the potential effects or harm of a hazard to determine its risk rating. Risk management is provided when conducting a risk assessment. Include the people who are actually involved in undertaking the task. In some countries, 10% of the population attends events run by not-for-profit organizations each year.